Now, West Asia appears to be edging towards a catastrophic conflict. The region holds its breath, awaiting for a potential Israeli retaliation for Iran's recent missile reprisal. The big question, of course, is this: how and where can the state of Israel, backed by the Americans, choose to attack? Our next poll gets you the details.
Israel unleashes a fresh series of massive airstrikes on Beirut, signaling its readiness for escalation. Israel is poised to retaliate against Iran for Tuesday's volley of ballistic missiles, some of which breached Israel's vaunted air defenses. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, while leading a massive Friday prayer in Tehran, defends Iran's missile attack on Israel as legal and legitimate.
The brilliant operation of the Iranian armed forces in the previous 2 and 3 nights was completely legal and legitimate work.
As tension mounts, speculation runs rife about Israel's potential targets in Iran. The US warns against striking nuclear facilities, but even attacks on Iranian oil infrastructure carry enormous risks. Israel options range from targeting strategic assets like gas or oil rigs to directly assaulting one of Iran's nuclear sites. Targeted assassinations and strikes on air defense systems also remain on the table.
We don't seek a wider regional war, and we definitely don't seek conflict with any country or group. That includes Iran. When it comes to an Israeli response, we're talking to them about their response. Of course, as you know, we have U.S. forces in the region.
An assault on Iranian oil facilities could devastate the country's economy, while any of these responses could trigger further escalation. The fears have already spooked the markets as Brent crude prices have risen 5%. West Asia accounts for about a third of global oil supply. Any Israeli strike also carries the risks of a furious Iranian retaliation. Tehran asserts Tuesday's attack was just a warning shot, and any Israeli attack would be met with fury. Iran commands a vast network of ballistic missiles, drones. Experts point out that the past 2 Iranian missile attacks weren't directed towards civilian targets, and Tehran had notified its partners before launching the attack. But the next one would come unannounced and would be deadlier. All eyes are now on Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu, who has to make his next move. How and where will he choose to retaliate? Bureau Report, WION World is One.
All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what, of course, is happening in West Asia at the moment, we're being joined by Mr. Reza Khanzadeh, who's a Middle Eastern expert and an Iran analyst. He's joining us live from Washington, D.C. Mr. Khanzadeh, let me in fact start off by asking you about this. Now, the American, especially the Joe Biden administration, claims that it is trying to nudge Israel not to target Iranian nuclear facilities, but there is a real possibility that the Americans, along with the Israelis, could be planning for a strike on Iran's energy and gas facilities. What do you think would be the Iranian response if Israel were to target its oil and gas refining facilities?
Well, thanks for having me. If Israel does decide to attack in the way that your report laid out, I believe Iran's a counterattack, if you will, would also target Israel's oil facilities, nuclear facilities, and even their military facilities. What we've seen since April, essentially, between Israel and Iran is a reciprocal type of attack where the level of escalation has not been so high to where the other country felt the need to recounter. So, for example, Israel attacked the Iranian embassy in Damascus, and then Iran attacked Israel, and then Israel countered. But in that back and forth, it was all measured at a certain degree to where military facilities were attacked, and very minimal damage and casualties as well. Now we're at a level where if Israel does attack nuclear sites in Iran, Iran will counter the same way. And the same goes whether if it's not nuclear, it could be the oil refinery. Iran will be looking to counter at the same level, even though their narrative is it's going to be a much bigger attack, much stronger attack. I doubt they will do that, because at the same time they've been saying that, they've been Iran's been also saying that they don't want an all-out war, they don't want a regional war.
Right.
So it's going to be a more calculated attack from Iran, I believe.
All right. Now, Iran is considered a state that is on the threshold of acquiring nuclear capabilities. Do you think this escalating conflict will now nudge Iran further to acquire nuclear capabilities as soon as possible?
Yes and no. I believe. So one thing about the Islamic Republic is that they're very pragmatic and able to compartmentalize different aspects of their national security and also their foreign interests. So when it comes to their nuclear program, they see that part and parcel of their entire foreign policy, narrative, but they're also able to see it almost independent and exclusive from the conflict they have with Israel. Now, the extent to which, or the speed to which, that they are going to, ramp up or ratchet up their, nuclear program, has been on the same trajectory for the past, I believe, 5 to 6 years now. And for it to increase much more than where it is right now, I think would take a lot more time than just the next few weeks or months, considering that there is going to be an attack from Israel. So it's more of a waiting game at this point to see what Israel's next attack is. Now, if they don't attack the nuclear sites, we could see Iran pick up that speed and try to, advance their nuclear program. But it's more of a waiting game at this point.
All right, we'll have to leave there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Khanzadeh, for joining us with that perspective there.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.